Hell yeah, and welcome to episode 70 of the Temple Bar podcast with me, Jim Wynne and Philip Noone. It's been a while, but it's been a crazy world, Philip. Crazy world.
Crazy world. Welcome back, folks. For anybody, listen, I'll tell you something. So we took a couple of weeks off. Jim went to Prague. Jim was there, but we had a couple of weeks off. And we had a couple of weeks to regroup. And when we did, the whole fucking world fell apart.
So we're not saying that we're holding this shit together. But maybe, just maybe.
But we had some of the wildest weeks. Now, in that, we've some new listeners we've met some new listeners and a lot of people, and the demographics went up fucking thousands of %.
Yeah. For some reason,
Spotify did something that showed us to new people. So you're all very welcome.
You're all very welcome here to the Temple Bar podcast. It's been an eventful couple of weeks.
Jesus,
anyway.
It's been a wild couple of weeks.
I thought the craziest thing that was going to happen was losing the 2-0 lead in Prague, but Jesus, that soon got overtaken by a few new things.
So do you want to start there, because that was a roller coaster of emotion?
It was a roller coaster,
and then we can get it, because Jim was in at you went in last night to have a look at the petrol protest.
I did. I was there at the petrol protest.
So I was there last night late.
Yeah.
I went down to O'Connell Street last night, but they were all just parked up and all, and there was nobody kind of knocking about. It was eerie as fuck, but it was just
strange, isn't it? It's got like a 28 days later vibe.
That's what I was thinking.
Everyone's like, the whole of O'Connell Bridge and the quays there. I mean, I left 2 hours early from my gig last night to get into town, because I thought it was going to take me ages, and I got in quicker than I've ever got in my life. Because I missed O'Connell Street. I go down up through the what's the cathedral? Christchurch, and then over the bridge to the north side, and I park over there usually. So I got straight in, because it's all up the quays from that all the tractors are. So it was actually strange. But then so it seems like everything's working as normal. Then you walk down the quays a little bit and it's all completely stopped and there's nothing moving. So very crazy. But anyway, we go back to Prague. Loved it. Yeah. What a city.
I know, it's a class city.
What a city.
So I was there last year and it's like fucking dead.
Yeah, it's a great city. Yeah, we loved it. And the people there were really friendly. They wanted Ireland to win, most of them that we met.
Because you were saying it's all hockey over there.
They're all like ice hockey, yeah.
They didn't give a bollocks.
Didn't see any Czech fans wearing any Czech colours the whole time I was there, including the day of the game, the day before the game. The day we were leaving, I saw loads of people in some ice hockey teams' colours. That was about
Quidditch.
Yeah, Quidditch or something, yeah, whatever they're into. But it was great crack, and I brought my 2 sons over with my brother and all his mates, and we had some big nights, and everyone got all the generations melded together, and everyone had the crack, and even losing the game.
The way we lost, it was fucking horrible.
It was tough. I mean,
Ireland to be 2-0 up. When we went 2-0 up, I was like, "This is too good to be true." And then the penalty was given out of that.
Too early for this stuff. Yeah, we went 2-0 up. First of all,
it had an Arsenal vibe to it. Like,
even Arsenal. Anyway, we'll get to that in a minute. But we were walking around, and they said there was like 6,000 Irish people there. There must have been twice that. Like, it seemed like that. Anyway, we walked through Prague. All you seen was Irish people. It was hard to find somewhere to watch the game. The thing with tickets was that usually we were afraid. Everyone who bought tickets was afraid that they wouldn't get in because they were Irish and trying to get into the home end. So I didn't want to buy 3 tickets for me and the 2 lads, which would have been €700 or €800, and then go up and not get in. So we decided we'll just watch it in the pub over there. Everyone who did buy tickets got in, no problem.
Oh, did they? Yeah.
Yeah. So home end or not. So that we should have probably taken it, but anyway, you live and learn.
I know, but sure, no.
So trying to find somewhere to watch it was a nightmare in the middle of Prague. Yeah, we started in the centre.
Did you come across the 2 Johnnies? The 2 Johnnies
didn't see them. No,
the 2 Johnnies were knocking about. They were posting and doing all their content and everything.
Yeah, I saw it after, but I didn't see them over there. I was in the pub they were in, but not that night. So we were like going in. We couldn't find a place where there was any sort of comfort to watch the match. You could watch it like in one of the pubs like this, like with steps all. Like there was loads of pubs where there's like steps going down little bits, and it was so packed that you couldn't see them. So you'd be walking along, you'd be walking behind someone, and all you see is their head go boom after falling down 2 or 3 stairs. Luckily there was enough people in front of them; they didn't fall forward; they just went down and straight back up. So we ended up going outside the city a little bit, not outside, like a bit out of the centre of the city, and we found this big screen out the back. The big screen out the back, the pub that it belonged to wouldn't serve drink from the pub out the back, so you had to go to this one little bar. So we all went to the Tesco Express and got canned. So we ended up paying a fortune to go to Prague and watch the match with a bag of cans out the back. And it was beautiful. And even even after everything went wrong and all, and there was like some Americans there who didn't have a clue about football and were being very obnoxious Americans. I was even trying to like show them love and all. And anyway, there was a lot of people were turning on them, especially when we started losing. Especially when we started losing, like they were like, "Oh my God, this is soccer!" And like they were like, didn't know what was going on. The stereotype.
It's good crack when they're doing it when you're 2-0 up.
Yeah, exactly.
100%, lads. Yeah. You're good.
And then we went to 2-2, and your man goes, "Hey,
I wouldn't even know. As soon as we gave away the penalty, I would have went, "Shh, no, enough."
Yeah, no, he said to me, "Hey, buddy, can you mind this seat for me?" I went, "Can't promise yet, bro." And I was hoping he wouldn't come back because I knew if
the minute he left, that seat would have been launched over a wall. I don't know. I didn't see it.
He wouldn't. I
would have launched that seat.
If he had kept going
wall.
the way he was going after we lost, it might have got a bit. He definitely would have. It wouldn't have been as.
Would have been like that. Have you seen the American Tourist in Train Spotting?
Yeah.
And the boys are sitting at the bar, and he comes in. He goes in. I'm going to use the bathroom, and you can just see all the boys looking at each other and they all follow.
Yeah, it was one of them jobs. Anyway, luckily he disappeared. But so 10 minutes after it was a bit down, and then the rest of the time it was great. So no, Prague was epic.
Not so bad.
And we barely made it back. It took a lot of running for trains, and we had to go to Dresden. Plan was to see a bit of Dresden. Didn't see a bit of it. But yeah, all got back safe and sound.
Probably I'm not going to make no.
What? Go on.
I was going to say probably a flat enough city, but it's.
Well, I didn't see much of it, but
Dresden was heavily bombed, wasn't it?
It was, yeah, firebombed. They said that was one of the biggest. They said a lot of people say that was a bigger war crime than the nuclear bombs.
Really?
Some people say. I don't know. I haven't followed it.
No, well, you'd imagine it'd be a flat city.
They firebombed Dresden apparently after the war was over.
If it was bombed that heavily.
Yeah, they knew it was over. Like they firebombed the residential parts and all. That's what happens with war.
And now there could be somewhere else firebombed.
Yeah.
Now listen, hold on, before we get to the fuel protests.
Open the Strait of Hormuz, you crazy bastards.
Just like I was saying this the other day, and this is the thing about Donald Trump. It's not that he came out and said the other night a whole civilization will die tonight, which he shouldn't have done. But it's the fact that he tweeted it, right? If you think about back in the day, imagine Mussolini or Stalin going, I have to make a big decision. I know it'll annoy these cunts now. Get my phone.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's
saying
like,
to them directly, like
just instead of coming out and like there was a time whenever something like JFK when the Cuban Missile Crisis and things like that, and he'd come out and there was a podium and there was everything. Trump's like, give me me phone. Give me me phone and I'll fucking tell the world right now.
Yeah.
In capital letters.
Yeah, but they found a way out of it. I saw an interesting video about it, how the Cuban Missile Crisis was averted because Khrushchev or something sent a list of demands and then sent another one and then was about to fire a rocket or something. And what JFK and Robert Kennedy did was they just accepted his first set of demands and then he couldn't back off from it because he was putting it in a corner. And I think that's what happened with Trump. I mean, he says all these things, but he says it every fucking 5 minutes, so you can't take it serious anymore. I was in the park this morning looking at a peacock, and I was like, that's Donald Trump there. He literally is a peacock. He's just like, look at me, look at me, look at me, look at me, look at me. I'm big, I'm huge. I haven't got small hands or a small dick. He's got that energy about him. He's got the energy of someone who's a spoiled, rotten kid that never got punched in the face when he was
But he came out today and said that he killed Osama bin Laden.
Yeah, exactly.
That's not true. That's not true.
I used to say in school that my dad knocked out Mike Tyson as well. But nobody's making me president. Not yet. But that's what he is, It's swung so far that way now that he's just showing you the face of it. I saw a thing today on TikTok where it showed like this is what they used to complain about the president, and it showed Fox News going mad about Obama wearing a suit or something. And I was like, yeah, fair enough, but he did also bomb Libya and Syria and all. Like, don't let the fact that Donald Trump is a clown distract you from the fact that the other side did the exact same thing in a lot of ways. So I'd hope we saw Joe Biden, who was basically a walking zombie, and now we've seen Donald Trump, who's like a child in a school playground trying to act the bully. And I'm hoping it doesn't swing as far back now the next time. If there is a next time. I'm hoping that it'll be a bit more calmer heads.
It all depends on the real people in charge. Our good friends at the Rothschild Corporation. The good Rothschild family, who we have a lot of time for here to talk about.
Authors of the Epstein files.
We'll never say anything bad about the Rothschilds. But in the last couple of weeks, so like a lot has happened. Like a lot has happened personally. My grandmother had a very serious medical incident, and I just want to wish her love, because she's really, really important to me and I love her very much. And she is coming out the other side of it now, and we're all very happy. We thought it was touch or go, like we weren't sure how it was going to go. So
And it was the same night that her sister passed, wasn't it?
Her sister passed on the same night, and so her sister passed on the same night. So the two of them were so she was obviously very sick. She was critical in hospital, and her sister died. And then when she came out, we couldn't tell her then that her sister had passed. So it was a very difficult time. But she's doing a lot better now, and I love her very much, and I just want to wish her a lot of love, Nana. I love you to bits.
Sending love to Nana. I hope we've got a family around you who love you anyway, because I know Philip's told me a lot about how you were with him growing up and all, so we wish you all the love and love to all your family.
But so, and then we have this, so the knock-on effect obviously from Iran is the fuel prices.
Yeah, it's that. I mean, this is like, when I talk about the dualities collapsing, drink and all. I see that, like, you're gonna just keep seeing hypocrisy and these paradoxes everywhere. But now, like, not everyone obviously, but a lot of the people who are so vocal about protesting for this shutting down the roads are the same people who are like very pro-Trump. So it's like they got what they wanted, and now they don't see that that's affected the thing. But it is actually different in a lot of ways if you look into it more. It's not really the price of fuel; it's how much the government are taxing it. Because so apparently the government tax 53%. So when you pay for fuel, the government earn more money from you filling up at the pump than it costs to take it from wherever it comes from, ship it across the world, bring it in, make it down from oil and all that stuff.
But sure, when I was living in Qatar, like, we were filling Hummers.
Yeah.
We were filling Hummers for next to nothing. Like.
Sure, when Saddam Hussein was in charge, they used to have free petrol in Iraq. You go around, you could drive anywhere in Iraq and fill up your car for free. It's just a matter.
They just couldn't let him have it.
They just couldn't. No, you can't be doing that like Obama and all these, whatever. It doesn't matter. Like, if you talk about like Trump being this warmonger, like they've all done the bidding of Israel, and they've all.
Oh, but sure, I think somebody told me that Libya used to give like new couples, new married couples, like a house and like 25,000 like to get them started.
I don't know if that's true, like, but I've heard it.
And apparently this guy now in Burkina Faso,
right?
Everybody's fucking going mad about him now. Right. Apparently this boy's a mad renegade. They all want to kill him, and he's like, he's the new Gaddafi, or he's the new, and they're painting him as the
There always has to be an enemy, like for these people who want to control. There always has to be some thing to look at and say we should fear that, and that's why you should listen to me. That's their role in the thing. Like, so when I look at it, like, as I say, I look Donald Trump as a peacock. His role is to be that spoiled child, to spread fear, and you can grab it or not. People grab it and people are, but I've seen so much humor around it. People aren't freaking out as much as they could.
No, no, but that's because it's so fucking.
But then also, it's
outrageous.
But look what's happened. He's basically had to kowtow to Iran so far, anyway.
But you see, he does something so outrageous every day that I'm like, is today market manipulation?
Yeah, it's all market manipulation.
Or is today like, is he doing all this financially? Because he said the other night, right, I'm going to bomb the shit out of these, I'm going to hit the power plants, I'm going to do this. There was human shields around the power plant and all, and then he was like, you've got 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? He sends the market into a spiral, and then the next thing he's like, you have 2 weeks. Yeah. He's like, I'm going to put tariffs on everybody. Market goes into a spiral. You've got 2 weeks.
Yeah. Well, that's, I mean, I feel like it's
like the dualities are collapsing. Drink. Yeah. I haven't had a drink in 2 months.
No, haven't had a pint. Tell me that's not a duality.
Haven't had a pint in 2.
Look at this man.
I gave it up for Lent. Lent's gone.
Look at the shape of him as well, folks.
Lent's gone, and I still haven't had a pint. Now I miss it and I don't miss it. All the stuff happened with me granny, and I was like, it was very easy to just.
Yeah, I would have thought that would be a trigger.
But I didn't want to go because everybody. Right, so the way it was that was kind of coming towards the end of Lent, and that kind of happened. And I was actually in Holland. I was in Amsterdam when I got this news, right? So I'm in Amsterdam. I'm on the street. There's fucking drink and drugs and wildness and everything everywhere, and I'm by myself, and I'm in Amsterdam, and
the oldness calling.
and I was walking around, and obviously enough, like in the fucking wildness of everything. But I was like, listen, my family have enough problems to deal with at the moment in Ireland without me going and doing something fucking outrageous, like getting twisted here and just ringing the family and annoying everybody. And I was like, fuck it. So I haven't had a drink yet, but
that's, I mean, that's a bit of a positive from a tough situation. Like there's always shoots of growth and positivity from every situation, and that's you choosing that of being of service to your family or trying to be a better version of yourself because of the tragedy of.
It's probably the bare minimum, to be fair.
Yeah, well, it's a bare minimum depends on your perspective.
Not acting the bollocks is probably the bare minimum.
Your intention. It's not really about like what you do. It's more about your intention, and your intention was to be not a burden on your family and not to add to the problems. That's service to others, I would say.
Baby steps.
Yeah. Don't judge yourself by it.
But yeah. And any of our new followers this week, you're all very welcome to the Temple Bar podcast. I've met people. People have come up. Somebody come up to you as well.
I was in the Lock-In, which is like a mad local pub. You know when we say the local pubs are dying? Not this one. It hasn't changed a fucking bit since I was in. I've been in there about 15, 20 years probably. Hasn't changed a bit. Still the same heads. Still the same heads. Still the same crack. People up singing, karaoke, bopping around. All mad cunts, a bit of aggro here and there.
Yeah, of course.
Great crack, though.
It
was great to see everyone.
You need it.
Met a few people. I met a fella, Darren, who listens to the podcast, who said to me, I listen to you and I don't agree with some things you say and I do agree with some things you say. And then I know that's what you're saying is to accept people whether you agree or not. And I was like, that's exactly what that's my whole thing. And so it was nice to hear somebody who kind of got a vibe of what I was trying to do.
Did he tell you the dualities are collapsing?
I don't know.
A couple of people have said to me the dualities are collapsing.
Oh jeez, I mean look at the fucking world. It's gonna keep getting weirder, and we're just gonna have to choose love and fear. But I think
we're gonna give the t-shirts with the dualities are collapsing.
We're gonna have to
merch.
We've been saying that for a while, but we'll see.
The dualities are collapsing.
We need somebody. Is there anybody out there who listens to the podcast who wants to come on as some sort of organizer? Because me and Philip are not good organisers.
No, and the thing is, like all the ad money and stuff that was, like we're not putting ads on this podcast unless we're allowed to say what we want, keep full control of. You're never going to hear an ad on this podcast.
Not until they open the Straits of Hormuz.
But the money's shite. Like this is the thing about podcast money. The money's shite unless they say, right, we want to, like, I'm not going to name any of the companies, but they say, like, right, we want to put our name on your podcast, and we want to put this on your podcast at the beginning and this in the middle and this at the end, and the money's good, right? The money's good for that. But then they're like, you can't talk about Israel. You can't talk about Donald Trump. You can't talk. Like, get the fuck.
That's what else would you be talking about?
Get the
tractors in O'Connell Street. Where you wouldn't find a clamp for that. But yeah, it's like when I say the dualities are collapsing, I feel like this. Like if we lived in a world that was polarized more towards fear, Donald Trump could do what he wanted and get away with it. The fact that he's having to pull back, and that apparently 30 of his generals all resigned or said they wouldn't carry out his orders. Like it's just, this is like they say in the Law 1 I told you before. There's going to be a last swipe at a dragon's tail.
He doesn't drink, does he?
Trump?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Someone said he doesn't drink or he doesn't smoke or he's like.
No, he just.
Jesus.
Well, that's
we have to cut that.
Why do we have to?
Yeah, no. You have to cut that because that can be clipped. You have to cut that.
Okay.
But you can leave in the bit where we said we have to cut that because that's.
Okay. Well, he just allegedly has been involved in some.
No.
essay.
No. Right. So you can say yes. He's in the Epstein files. You can say that.
Right.
You can't say what you just said.
Okay. Right. What I just said will be in the Patreon. Now open the Strait of Hormuz. Yeah, so I mean he's got his own. It seems like his ego is his biggest voice. It seems like he's got an unquenchable. I don't know the man. Maybe he's probably funny to talk to. Like, you know what I mean? Like everyone else.
I would say so. Like
he's not like you don't want to put Ricky Gervais in charge of your fucking just because he's funny doesn't mean he should be in charge of anything. And I don't think he really is in charge of anything. I think he's just he's a mirror of the civilization as it swings into a new paradigm.
Yeah, but the new paradigm could be fucking terrifying.
It could be. I think it'll be terrifying for some people, and so I think it'll depend on how we react individually and as a collective. And I feel like the world is already not bowing to fear as much as it would have in the because when you talk about like the Nazis or Genghis Khan or any of those people who took over swathes of the world and ruled the world before, they had all the information was given through them to their people. Now, you literally cannot believe anything you see. Nobody has the same opinion on anything because everything's AI or different thing. Like you cannot believe anything you see now, and people are.
We're not even here.
Yeah, we are not really here, and people think that's scary. But in a way, it's what'll stop the world from being led down the fucking rabbit hole by some mass maniac because nobody can agree on anything. Now, can we still love each other while we don't agree on anything? That's the next step, I'd say. I can do it. Not easily, but I can do it.
Like, do you know something? And this, I'm going to bring it back to this, is the human ego. And I suppose as long as when you stop wanting to win, that's when you start to win. And and I don't mean win in terms of winning and losing. I just mean in every argument, somebody has to try and push an opinion. Mm-hmm. But if you can just see their opinion and just say, look, even if their psychological build-up is like, I'm going to get one over on him, if you can see that you don't have to win,
yeah,
I think that's where the winning is.
Yeah.
Now, it's very difficult to bite your tongue and say, "Get the fuck, you're wrong."
Yeah, but even if you don't see it in the moment and you do react like that, you can see it afterwards, and that's all building towards that. You know what I mean? Because I react all the time still to things, to triggers and whatever, and we hang our happiness on some sort of outcome, like you say, when we have to win, or the world has to be this way and then I'll be happy. But whenever it goes to any extreme, there'll be people who are happy and people who are unhappy. It's finding the middle ground and not needing some specific outcome for it to be palatable. Just to see people as, like you said, you can only meet people where they are, and that resonated with me big time. I think about that all the time now, because it's very true. You can only meet people where they are at any given point, and that goes for yourself as well.
Oh no, 100%. Like, so I suppose, and I've been thinking more about it too. Like, if you think about it. And I suppose it's more of my reading of Dr. Gabor Mate, because I have ADHD, and he says ADHD is more of a coping mechanism than a disease per se, as they say, and it's more of a coping mechanism to everything in your life. But every human being is the way they are because of how they are hardwired and molded.
Yep.
So you're the way you are and I'm the way I am because of a series of events that have happened in our life that we reacted to in a certain way that has made us the person we are today. Both good, bad, and indifferent, right? So, there were times in your life where things might have hit you harder and you would have reacted not wrong, but differently, but maybe more negatively. And then there were times where you reacted more positively, and then you had a spiritual awakening where you saw how you reacted in different times, and you knew that this could be the way forward, in that you step out of it and you observe it as opposed to react to it.
Yeah, exactly.
So what I'm trying to do now is observe it more, and I'm trying to do that with people as well. So like, what I'm trying to do is, if I'm having an argument with someone, or if I'm having, and it be because I have this thing in me sometimes where I like to poke, right, and I know that comes from a fairly toxic place in me, because I try and bring out things in people that maybe I shouldn't. But I know that I do that sometimes because maybe I'm feeling unhappy in myself, and then this is a way for me to kind of level the playing field a little bit, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I do it especially when I drink.
Yeah.
So when I drink, I like to watch the whole fucking world burn around me. Like. And so that's why, I want to watch the world burn when I drink. And I want to make sure that everybody's fucking unhappy. If I get into one of my moods when I'm drink, I'm going to try and annoy everybody. And I know that comes from, a certain psychological build-up of events and how I handled them in my life and how I responded to them. So similarly, when I'm dealing with people, I know that if someone's doing something to me, I'm like, okay, that's where you are, and you're there because of this and this, maybe you're not, but I don't know
but
how.
You're there because of some said it.
Exactly, and I don't know how deep.
It wasn't your choice to be there. It wasn't your conscious choice.
It's not your conscious choice to be where you are, and I don't know how deep that runs in you. I don't know if that can be changed. I don't know if that's your hardwiring. I can only focus on me and how I deal with it. And that's what I mean by you can only meet someone where they are, I suppose. And that's where I am in it at the minute, because I'm just trying to look at myself with a bit of compassion and go, yeah, there are times I can be a fucking prick.
Yeah.
But if I'm doing that consciously, I have to find out why I'm doing it consciously and stop fucking doing it consciously.
Yeah. Yeah. And in the big picture, for whoever you're doing that to is there to learn from that. And you're there to learn from them.
Oh yeah, no, I'm doing it to everybody.
Yeah, I'm
doing it to everybody. I do it to you. You do it to it's in everything. You know, it's in everything. I do it to we do it to everybody. But we just have to find out why we're doing it. Is it conscious? Is it subconscious? How deep does it go? Where does it start? What do I have to change in order for that not to be that again?
Yeah. It's like
it's not easy.
No, it's not easy. Because but I think the hardest part of it is thinking that you have to get to the end of it. Like it's to realize that it's perfect as it is, and it's just like it's like being the bud or the flower that's under the dirt. You're like, oh, I'm fucking nearly there. I have to get there because I'll finally not be a fucking bud anymore. I'll be a flower. But you have to realize that you need that bit of dirt. You have to have the more rain coming down. You have to be pushed down a bit before you can pop up. You need all that. That's the spiritual view of it, is maybe that it's not that it's all about the patterns, which is exactly what it is, but it's also that it's perfect and it's what you need. Like even these things that we don't like in ourselves are parts of us that are helping us grow. They're giving us the opportunity to grow. And some people will be asleep for our whole lives to it, and some people won't. And I'm reading a book at the moment called Osho, which is like all about the Upanishads and all these. But anyway, he's a funny guy. He's a monk or something, and he talks about the Upanishads and serious, but he always ends each.
If you don't mind me, who are the Upanishads?
Upanishads are like a Hindu. Real old scriptures. They're like different poem stories that talk about non-duality. They're kind of the first non-dual things in the world.
Okay.
Whatever. But anyway, he sits there and he talks serious and gives all these. It's all metaphors. Like everything else is metaphors. Jesus Christ metaphors. Every religion is metaphors that some people take too serious. I feel. But anyway, he always ends things with a joke. And somebody asked him, "How do you know that you're not?" How do you feel like you're creating a new consciousness? How do you know you're not just creating a new type of sheep? And he said, only a person who's an old sheep would ask that question. He's like, it's not my job to change anybody. It's my job to bring them to water. And he said, there's an old joke. You can bring the hippie to water, but you can't make him wash. I was driving home last night, listening to that, and I was just laughing away, because that is it. Like, we feel like we have to change the world. We have to. And even with the spiritual thing has a big ego on it as well. You feel like, I know this now, I have to show it to everybody, but you can't. Like they're only where you can only meet them where they are. I can throw a few seeds of things that I believe in on the way, and if it's good for you, take it with you. If it's not good for you, leave it there and never think about it again.
Well, the only reason I think about it is because it was when you were talking about the flower and you were like, and I have to get there. I don't have a goal in getting anywhere. I just want to give my head a bit of peace.
Yeah.
Like, my head is a wild fucking place. And it's always been a wild fucking place. That's why I've been, all the partying and with all the touring and all the madness and all the I could never settle. And I in ways I still can't. But that's why I do it, because if I can recognize it, I suppose I can just find that way of not getting closer to peace, but just gradually finding a bit of peace along the way. Like, because peace of mind is everything. If you can just be content, like,
it's about your identity. But that's what I mean. You identify. And I do it all the time as well until I remember that I'm doing it. You identify with your thoughts as that's me. I'm creating them. That's what makes it so difficult. Even the crazy thoughts. Like my they call it monkey mind. My mind hops all over the place. Even maybe worse than it ever does now. But I don't attach to it. Like, I don't say that's me thinking that, because it's not you thinking it. Like, even the craziest things you think of, like we told you before, if you sit and take a breath and try and imagine the next thought that's going to come out of that hole, you can never predict it, because it's not you. You're not making them. You're just seeing them as they come past. And it's when we attach them and make stories, and we have to, then that's when we make ourselves suffer with them, or when we find. But that's like, a part of realizing that is examining your patterns. And so I think you're well on the way to doing it. We all are. We're all exactly where we're supposed to be,
Well, that's it.
And we'll get there when we're supposed to get there.
But I'm getting twisted now anyway. No, I have a gig. I'm back in the Netherlands this weekend, actually.
Yeah.
And so I might have a few drinks Sunday night. But look, listen, if I do, I do, and if I don't, I don't. But I'm not.
That's the one day at a time attitude. Remember?
But I miss it. I miss it at airports. Well, I did miss it because I was doing a bit of traveling there for gigs and stuff. And when you're when you're getting to the airport and you're having a cup of coffee, it's a different
Have you ever
experience.
been to the airport and all the pubs were closed?
Maybe during COVID.
No, we went there to Prague. Now we got there at 2:00 in the morning. All the pubs were closed, every single one, and they didn't open till 3:30. For some reason, they closed from like 1:30 till 3.
Why?
I didn't know. I fucking don't know. So we couldn't get a pint.
Anybody at Dublin Airport?
Yeah, what's the crack with that?
What's the story with closing the pub for an hour?
So
for
we're
pub's
all
sake?
there. Me getting the 2 lads up out of bed. Me go down and collect them 2:00 in the morning, going to the blue car park, getting there. It was like lovely. And I hadn't drank in 2 months since this.
Yeah, yeah.
I was like getting to the airport, waiting for that first pint, and they were all closed. We ended up getting one just in time. Like our flight was at 4:30, and we ended up getting one at 3:30.
The only thing I can think of, right? Did everything close?
No, there was. You could get like food.
Oh, they just couldn't serve alcohol.
Yeah.
Oh, that's someone from the government. Anybody in Dáil Éireann there?
Come here.
Anybody with a bit of legislation?
Get away from them tractors and tell us.
A solicitor. Anybody with a bit of legislation knowledge? What's the story with that?
Yeah.
Because I was thinking maybe it was something to do with a staff changeover. Because like in the airport, they have to go through.
I looked it up.
They have to go through security.
I looked it up. It said something. I can't remember what it was. But yeah, maybe it was to do with the staff changeover. But no, but there was
because I'm sure if you work in duty free,
but some of the shops were closed as well.
See, if you work in duty free and there's a staff changeover, let's say it's like, let's say you're doing like 12 to 12, or you're doing like 2 to 12. The next people who are in at that time, should they have to go through security and do all their security checks? And
yeah.
It must be. I'm sure they have a special way of coming in and all. But
yeah, there must be something to do with it. Yeah, but we were gutting for a pint anyway. We got one in the end, and by God, we made up for it in the few days we were there. And then last week as well, I drank a lot, but I'm planning to try and stay off it for a while again.
But you're back off it now.
Back off it now, for now. But we'll see. It's nice. I've never really had too much of a problem with alcohol. I'm quite a jovial person when I'm drinking. I'm off the weed.
Right, good stuff.
Off the weed for 2-3 weeks now. Not a bother.
So you do kind of go on and off it like every now and again, just for the 2
or 3 months. Although to be fair, I think the last time I was on it for about 5 or 6 months now. After this last period.
See, whenever if I've ever smoked weed, it's just. First of all, it makes me really sleepy, so I'll sleep. But if I don't sleep, that's when the paranoia sets in, and that's when
But it doesn't make. It's never made me sleepy. That's what. It's just strange. It makes you talk about your mind going crazy. It makes my mind go more crazy. But it's not like. It starts off with. I feel a bit of paranoia to start, but I know it's just temporary, so I don't attach to it. And then I just start thinking putting these mad connections, like spiritual connections and stuff together. Same thing happens with the drink with me as well. But I realize that that's all. It's still all concept. But what the main difference you get when you stop smoking weed is your dreams become epic. Your dreams become really, really almost lucid dreams.
Right.
And I've had all these mad. When I started doing this with ChatGPT, like what things, little bits I remember from my dreams, I put them in and I say, can you give me some examples of what these things could mean on a spiritual, psychological level? And it gives me some things. Some things I go, huh? Some things I go, I don't go, that's what it means. I go, if I feel like it gives me something, I'll take it. If I feel like it's shite, then it doesn't. I only started that in the last few days. So stuff like that, But it's cool. That's one of the best.
Did you ever use a dream dictionary or anything?
I did that.
They're good crack.
I did that when I was first had the spiritual awakening years ago. I did that for a long while. I have it in there somewhere. And I had all these mad dreams. What could that mean? What could that mean? But at the end of the day, it's all really.
Did you just break the fourth wall and just point at people? I have it in there. He pointed at you.
It is in there.
It's in you
because it's all here.
The dream dictionary's in you.
It's all here.
Yeah, not so bad.
Good stuff. So it's a fucking it's a journey. And come here, even if El Orange Monkey Face blows up the whole world, we'll all be grand. We'll be back where we're supposed to be.
I don't know legally where we stand on that one. I know the last one definitely has to be cut. I don't know about that one.
Well,
I'd say Orange Monkey Face is probably all right. It's because we're talking about Donald Trump. That's all right.
Just orangutan hair.
Yeah, no, the first one has to go, but the second one's all right.
Right, no worries. Well, I what I'd say is you just look at old Donald Trump and all the lads. Because the thing is, Israel and America spend trillions upon trillions upon trillions on
billions and billions and billions
propaganda, weapons that can come in and scratch your arse before they blow you up, all these things, and Iran have basically taken them down with memes. That's memes and making fun of them, and it's the dualities are collapsing, folks. Like, that's another
Drink.
part. The Epstein files, all these things. It's going to compete. It'll seem like it's getting more chaotic, but it's really getting more transparent. And that's the key thing, I think, for people, if you can, is to concentrate on it's actually becoming more transparent how the world works and how powerful people have ran the world. And it'll be what it's going to be, but it's going to become a bit more transparent.
Well, I talked to you, was it the other day, Alex Jones and Nigel Farage both came out and said what Donald Trump is doing is outrageous.
Nigel, Alex Jones, who was the biggest Trump guy, same as your man Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens, everyone. Do you know, another thing I've seen, actually, this is a good example of what I mean by accepting people. I saw, like, when you ever see videos of Donald Trump, I see people underneath commenting, I was MAGA, but now I've changed my mind, I'm sorry. And there's people underneath there like, I'll never forgive you. But you have to understand that people just voted because they thought it was a change. They saw what was wrong with the other system, and don't pretend that the last person's people before him was perfect. Like,
I know, but it's not that. Like, if I lived in a country and the whole Capitol Hill fort where everybody invaded the White House, and like, if all that happened, and then Donald Trump came back and said I want to be president again, I would have been like, get the fuck.
Yeah, of course. Well, we would, but a lot of people wouldn't, because a lot of people
have seen the last time you get the fuck.
A lot of people have seen their livelihoods, their standard of living completely eroded, and it's the same thing's happening around. The same thing. That's why the fuel price is happening. Like, it's the whole middle of it.
Listen, the standard of living in Ireland has dropped since we haven't had helicopters since 2006. Right?
That was the
there
peak.
was more helicopters.
That was the peak.
Listen, there was a time when people had helicopters in their gardens, and now we're giving out about the price of petrol, you know. But listen, we just.
Yeah, if you seen, we did a clip there today, and I talked about. I went in yesterday. Did I say this at the start? That I went in 2 hours early to gig? I think I did.
Oh yeah.
I went in 2 hours early. Went down to O'Connell Street to have a look around, and I ended the video by saying, "Now the price of diesel is too high. I'm going back to Temple Bar, where at least the price of pints has always been very reasonable." So,
11.80 for anybody asking.
Yeah. What hill are you prepared to die on?
A pint in Temple Bar now at its highest, I think, is like 11.80. I'm not going to name the pub.
I'd say that's nearly doubled I'd say it probably took 40 years for it to go up 10%, and now it's probably doubled in 3 years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's going to keep getting more like this until and this is the new system being born, until the old system becomes completely unsustainable.
Until we're all just drinking chai lattes and sea swimming and matches.
Maybe that's what we need. We'll all meet up and do group meditations, send love to Mother Earth.
Even that alone's going to send me straight back in the pints right now. I'm off. I'll see you after.
So that's it for episode 70 of the Temple Bar podcast. Let us know what you think about what's going on in the world. It does seem to be getting very chaotic, but sure, come here. We'll always be here to love you. And
all the new ones are very welcome.
All the new ones are very welcome. And if you've been here a long time, we're always happy to have you. You are our brothers and our sisters. We'll catch you on the next one, episode 71. We will have a guest here next time.
Yeah. We have guests actually. The boat next time.
We've two guests lined up in the next couple of weeks, so we're looking forward to that. Hopefully the world stabilises a bit, but if it doesn't, at least we'll be stable in here. And that's all we can do.
Oh, nice.
That's all we can do. Our love to you. And that's it for episode 70 of the Temple Bar podcast. Stay bold, sláinte.